Unit 7 Fundamental Rights. Question 73. The idea of passing fundamental rights in the Constitution of India was inspired by the Constitution of which country? Its fundamental rights we have taken from America, along with the other features like judicial review, separation of judiciary from executive, impeachment of president, removal of High Court and Supreme Court's judges and others. The idea of fundamental rights in the Constitution is derived from the Constitution of America. Fundamental rights are those which are given to the citizens by the Constitution, being fundamental and essential for the living of a person. The fundamental rights in the Indian Constitution are described in article from 12 to 35 in part 3. Original constitution has 7 fundamental rights, but via 44th Constitutional Amendment Act in 1978, right to property fundamental right was removed from Article 31 and 19F and shifted to be a legal right under Article 300A of Part 12. At present, citizens have a total of 6 fundamental rights in the Constitution, which are as right to equality from 14th to 18th, right to freedom, Article 19 to 22, right against exploitation 23 and 24, right to freedom of religion, Article 25 to 28, cultural and educational rights 29 and 30, 31, that is right to property was removed, right to constitutional remedies 32. Originally, right to property was given in Article 19(1)(f), which has now removed from it. It was the right to purchase property anywhere in the country. 74. Part 3 of the Indian Constitution deals with which subjects? It's fundamental rights. Fundamental rights of Indian Constitution is inspired by which country? America. From Ireland, we have taken Directive Principles of State Policy, Part 4, and nomination of Rajya Sabha members. From France, we have taken Republic and Ideals of Liberty, Equality, and Fraternity. In India, what is age allowed to get factory employment? It's 14th. Article 24th of the Part 3 says no child below the age of 14 years shall be employed to work in any factory or mine or in any other hazardous employments. It's in right against exploitation, शोषण के विरुद्ध अधिकार. Which of the following fundamental rights is not included in the fundamental rights described in the Constitution? कौन सा मूल अधिकार भारतीय संविधान में नहीं है? इसमें कोई ईयर, there is no year added in it, so we take it as a current year. It's right to property. संपत्ति का अधिकार वर्तमान में हमारे संविधान में नहीं है. इसे 1978 में 44वें संविधान संशोधन अधिनियम के द्वारा हटा दिया गया था. क्वेश्चन अगर ये होता, which of the fundamental rights was not included in the original constitution, then the answer would be right to privacy. Right to privacy was added in the Constitution in 2017 August. Right to privacy is mentioned under which part of the Constitution? It's in part 3 of the Constitution. The right to life and personal liberty has been considered as a fundamental right under Article 21. In 2017, 9 judges of Constitutional Bench of Supreme Court unanimously declared the right to privacy a fundamental right. Right to privacy is an integral part of which part of the Constitution? It's fundamental rights. Which of the following is mentioned in Article 51A? In 15(1)(a), fundamental duties are added. In the 1974 Son Singh Committee recommended to add fundamental duties to the Constitution of India of Article 51A as Part 4th A by 42nd Amendment Act of 1976 under the Title 10. Basic duties were added. Later, a new basic duty was added by the 86th Constitutional Amendment Act. It was in 2002. So the total number of basic duties are 11. 11th fundamental duty says it would be the duty of the parents of a child to provide the early education to children. In 86th Constitutional Amendment Act, there was right to education was added as 21A, and in which we say 6 to provide the free and compulsory education from to children from 6 to 14 years. 45 article which says it will be the duty of the state to provide early childhood care and education to child below 6 years of age. And 11th fundamental duty was also added. Which of the Indian Constitution gives state the right to make special provisions for children, women, scheduled castes and tribes? It's part 3 fundamental rights inside the Article 15. Article 15(3) of the part 3 of Indian Constitution says the state gives the power of special provision for women and children. Article 15(4) gives the state the power of special provisions for scheduled castes and tribes. In which year right to education RTE was implemented in India? Right to Education Act was passed in 2009 while it was implemented from April 1st, 2010 across the country. Under this provision of the free and compulsory education has been made to children between 6 to 14 years of age. 6 से 14 साल के बच्चों को फ्री एजुकेशन दिया जाएगा इस शिक्षा के अधिकार में, शिक्षा के अधिकार अधिनियम में. Most of the fundamental rights are included in the article from our constitution. It's from 12 to 35. Fundamental rights taken from the America is described in the part 3 of the constitution. Part 3 of constitution is called the Magna Carta of India. It is also called the father of fundamental rights. 6 rights have been given in the Constitution. Which of the following was not a fundamental rights of the Indian citizen? So, right to equality we are given from 14th to 18th. Right to life in 21, Article 21. Right against exploitation we are given in uh, Article 23 and 24. So it's a right to privacy as it was added in 2017. In which year right to education was included in the fundamental rights? 86, the Constitutional Amendment Act added the Article 21A in Part 3 in December 2002, considered the right to free and compulsory education to all children between the 6 to 14 years of age as a fundamental right, uh, while Right to Education Act 2009 was passed by the Parliament and implemented on April 1st, 2010. So in this, all the options are given wrong. According to the Constitution of India, which one of the following is not a fundamental right? Right to protect the country. It's a fundamental duty. Right to protect the country is not a fundamental right. It's a fundamental duty. Where the right to freedom, Article 19 to 22 is the right to life and personal liberty, 21, and right to equality from 14th to 18th are fundamental rights. Which one of the following fundamental rights is available to both citizens of India and the foreigner? कौन सा मूल अधिकार भारतीय सिटीजन्स और विदेशियों को भी मिलता है? So it's freedom to manage religious matters. Article 26 is available to both citizens and foreigners of India. The other three fundamental rights are available only to Indian citizens. कोई भी व्यक्ति अपने धर्म से रिलेटेड किसी भी धर्म का पालन कर सकता है. Article 15, 16 and 29 are only for Indian citizens. Part 8 Fundamental Unit 8 Fundamental Duties. Which article of our constitution covers fundamental duties of Indian citizens? It's 51A. Article 51A of the Constitution deals with the 11 fundamental duties. Originally, the Constitution of India did not contain these duties. 10 duties were added by the 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act 1976. The last 11th duty was added by the 86th Amendment Act 2002. The fundamental duties were to the Constitution upon the recommendations of the Swarna Singh Committee. India borrowed the concept of fundamental duties from Soviet Union. मूल कर्तव्य हमारे संविधान में पहले से उपलब्ध नहीं थी. इन्हें 42 में संविधान संशोधन के द्वारा 1976 में ऐड किया गया. इनकी संख्या 10 थी. 2002 में 11वीं मूल कर्तव्य को 86वें संशोधन के द्वारा जोड़ा गया जो शिक्षा से संबंधित है. How many fundamental duties are mentioned in the Constitution? It's 11. How many fundamental duties have been replaced in the Constitution of India? Again, it's 11. Directive Principles of State Policy. राज्य के नीति निर्देशक तत्व. 91. Which part of the Indian Constitution is also called a unique feature of the Constitution by Dr. V.R. Ambedkar. Directive principles of state policy has been made has been called a unique feature of the Constitution by V.R. Ambedkar. It is of great values because it laid down the goal of economic democracy as distinguished from political democracy. Descriptions of it are mentioned in Part 4 from Article 36 to 51. This provision is derived from the Constitution of Ireland. Part 4 is also called the Consciousness of Constitution. We call Part 3 as Magna Carta. Part 4 is Consciousness of Constitution. Provisions of the Uniform Civil Code are mentioned in the Constitution of India. It's in Part 4. Article 44 describes the Union Civil Code. A Union Civil Code means that all sections of the society, irrespective of their religion, shall be treated equally according to a national civil code, which shall be applicable to all uniformly. They covers areas like marriage, divorce, maintenance, inheritance, adoption, and succession of the property. It is based on the premise that there is no connection between religion and law in modern civilization. In which of the following parts of the Indian Constitution the executive is separated from judiciary? Executive from judiciary is separated under Article 50 of Part 4th of Constitution. The purpose of separation of powers is to prevent abuse of power by a single person or a group of individuals. It will guard the society against the arbitrary, irrational, and tyrannical power of the state, safeguard freedom for all, and allocate power of and each function of the to the suitable organs of the state for effective discharge of their respective duties. That is हमारी जो सुप्रीम कोर्ट्स या है उसमें एग्जीक्यूटिव्स अपना रेशनल पावर का यूज़ नहीं कर सकते हैं एंड ये फ्यूचर जो है हमारा अमेरिका से लिया गया है. जुडिशरीज अपना कोई भी डिसीज़न बिना किसी एग्जीक्यूटिव्स लाइक प्राइम मिनिस्टर, प्रेसिडेंट, इनके फोर्स पर नहीं दे सकते.